Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
When did you first get knowledge of their relationship?
I've said over again that I didn't have any personal information where I could personally say when it started. I've said that time and time again. So I don't know when the relationship started.
Lisa said, no, CNN. Dear CNN, no, the Fani Willis hearing isn't entertaining. It's infuriating. Mm-hmm. Did you see this latest thing?
Yeah.
So this guy, he's like, I guess I was just speculating. I was just gossiping. Mm-hmm. So this is how they're going to try to take down one of the main prosecutors against Donald Trump. As French always says, digging through a black lady's panties. Mm-hmm. So, Barb says, so basically... the guy who Trump's defense has been lying on just admitted that he had no actual knowledge and was just gossiping. Mm-hmm. Katie Fang was, tweeting about this, and it's infuriating.
Oh, yeah. This is so obvious what's happening here. You know what Donald Trump could do when he loses this election? He could go do like close-up magic at Dave & Buster's or something like that, because he's really good at this kind of sleight of hand. What's happening here is the big discussion is, did she or didn't she? Did she elevate this guy because they were having an affair, et cetera? Was there money exchange? The point of all of this is that as long as we're talking about Fani Willis and the trouble that Fani Willis is in, we're not talking about what Donald Trump did, these RICO charges, the fact that he tried to overthrow an election and had been doing that, tried to overthrow the election in 2016, tried to do it again in 2020.
And they're most desperate, Bob, because that's a state one that he can't pardon himself and he can't, stop it. Even if he's elected.
Yeah. Well, what he's really hoping to do is delay it long enough so that if he is convicted, then he will refuse to concede. He will refuse to be taken into custody in Georgia, because at that point he'll be dictator for life and he doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's he's waiting for that point in time.
Katie Fang tweeted the actual testimony. Merchant, you told me that their relationship started when she left the DA's office and was municipal judge in South Fulton. Bradley, I was speculating. I didn't have no one told me. I was speculating. Merchant, your speculation based on things told to you or things you witnessed? I never witnessed anything. It was speculation. I can't tell you anything specific. Oh my God, that's what all this is about?
Yep.
I see. Oh, you're gossiping. Oh, thank you, Gladys Kravitz. You're just gossiping.
Right.
Thanks for getting that reference.
Yeah, there's nothing here, but that, of course, is the point. They'll just take whatever smoke they can find and say, hey, look, there's all kinds of fire over there. Meantime, we've delayed this trial even more and impugned the prosecutor and somewhat, kind of besmirched her career moving forward, because every time the name Fani Willis is going to come up, the press will shoehorn in something about this particular set of hearings about her personal life or whatever was going on with Prosecutor Wade. So it's just absolutely absurd.
Was saying, Bob, about how, this is like an inexperienced judge that really shouldn't have let this whole thing, go forward like this. And you're like, oh my God, justice in the United States is at the mercy of now we're waiting on this hack Trump, acolyte Judge Cannon in Florida. I mean, it really is sort of it's depressing about America's system of justice, because this is when we watched the original hearing. I'm like, what? Why is she on trial for her personal life and not the rapist? I'm like, wait, what is happening here? Right.
Yeah. And I think we found out this week, didn't we find out that Judge Cannon has connections to the Mafia? I think.
Yeah. My favorite thing this week that the poor, sickly Chris Lavoie said is he called the shady Hunter Biden witness Tony Bubblinsky Tony Bubbles.
Yeah.
I don't
love that. Right. I love that.
I mean,
Tony Bubbles.
I love The Sopranos and I love the films of Martin Scorsese, but you know what? There's a lot of Anglo regular white guys who just love pretending to be they're in the Mafia.
Play tough guys.
I mean, that was... Yeah, I mean, anyone who worked in an office environment during the initial run of The Sopranos, the next day, Monday morning, because it was on Sunday night, Monday morning, everyone would come in and around the water cooler, you see all these just regular, Bob Newhart button-down guys going, hey, forget about it, gabagoo, and all that.
What are you having for lunch? A little gabagool, a pasta fago? What you doing over there? Let's go to the bada bing. Yeah.
Just go, stop.
I think when that guy kills somebody, he probably does some bubbles. He just blows bubbles near the body. That's how you know it was Tony Bubbles.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
my signature.
Yeah, Mr. Bubble.
That's right. That's his thing. He shoots a guy in the back of the head and then blows bubbles at the corpse.
You know, we have to ask about that. Frankie Figs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank Fagoo,
Yeah,
less Frankie
yeah.
Figs about it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Take
Finally,
the gun, leave the bubbles. Yeah.
Or Tony the Squid.
Tony
take the
Squid.
cannoli and the bubbles. Drop the gun. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, keep the bubbles, leave
calamaris.
the gun. Yeah.
You tweeted, as Hal Sparks pointed out, I know that guy. It won't be anyone with more syllables in their name than Trump for VP. So it'll be Vance, Lake, Nome, or Scott. If it's Vance, Trump's team only needs to change 2 letters. The Trump-Pence logo, cheapskate Trump will like that.
No, they'll do it with Sharpie.
Who knows what's next in this ridiculous charade we're going
Yes,
through in
because a
2024.
9 billionaire is such an utter cheapskate. That just completely exposes the fact that he's not a 9 billionaire.
Yeah.
He says he is. It's absolutely absurd. I mean, we're all seeing the Scotch tape on the back of his tie, holding his ridiculous tie together.
Yeah.
This is how he operates as a 9 billionaire. And so I'm sure he's looking to be frugal when it comes to the campaign materials
Yes.
this time around. Because all that money's got to go to his legal defense. He's
Yeah.
got no money to spend. I mean,
know.
he's bankrupting the RNC, basically.
Yay.
And so he's going to need to economize on the logos,
All right,
on the
Bob.
graphic design.
Yes. One last fashion question. Do these 80s lesbian vests go with gold sneakers? Because I'm asking for a friend.
I think the yellow one would.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, you know who's a purveyor of the vest who looks snappy and fine in a vest is our friend Paula Poundstone.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
This is my
absolutely.
homage to Paula
Historic
Poundstone.
vest wearer.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to
Yes.
switch vests now. So,
Yeah, so you
everybody-
could do a whole podcast now, just you and Paula Poundstone talking
In different
lesbian
vests.
or something. Yeah, no.
like
Not that Paula- I'm not
comedians
saying
in
that
vests getting coffee.
There you go.
I said that's a very complicated vest to put on. It took the entire commercial break, and I said that's like the boss level of a lesbian video game. First you navigate the bathrooms at Liz Fair, then you go to the dance theory class, and then you face the boss battle, which is that crazy vest with all the Jill Wine-Banks pins on it.
Yes.
Jill Wine-Banks' jewelry box has exploded on my chest.
Right, Jill Wine-Banks circa 1991. It's perfect.
And one of them has a chain attached so you don't lose it.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That looks very dignified, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Very military.
Like a pocket watch.
And meantime, Chris is like
I'm gonna
the
be the-
adults in the Charlie Brown cartoon.
I know. Oh, shut up.
Like with the
now.
vest.
You know what this vest screams? I'm going to be the best dressed lesbian at Lilith Fair.
The Dinosaur International.
Yeah, the dinosaur.
This is early cocktails after Dinosaur.
I'm still blushing because I got to watch you get dressed.
Yes.
In front of me.
Yes.
Which was such a treat. Yes.
Well, we felt this picked up the blue in the blue wave. Hi, good morning.
Perfect. Good morning.
Are you
Hi.
as annoyed? Well, what do I quote you every day about people playing grab ass with democracy? Thank you,
Oh,
uncommitted Michigan voters. I mean,
Yeah.
we were just saying that, Chris and I were just talking to Bob that, I get that it's an emotional issue, and I don't want to patricide to people. Like a lot of women feel like men are patriciding to us about, women's rights. So, I get it. It's an emotional issue, but I was saying, as usual, you knew how the media was going to play it. Joe Biden got 81%. It is historically normal. Was it 13?
It was
the
13
final
in
13%?
Obama in 2012.
Yeah, I mean, Obama had almost the same amount. And again, Bob, I'm like you, where I want to get happy, but then I don't get happy. I mean, it clearly is going to be all about turnout, isn't it, in November?
Well, yeah. But I mean, I think you had the statistic earlier in the show, which is that Joe Biden, I think the uncommitted vote was 13%?
Yeah.
Yesterday in Michigan. Barack Obama faced an uncommitted vote of, I think it was 10.6% in 2012. It's if that was a poll, it would be within the margin of error. It's that close. And Barack Obama obviously went on to easily win Michigan against Mitt Romney, where, Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney famously said he likes the trees in Michigan because
Yes.
they're all the same height.
yes.
They're the
If
right
you remember that.
Right.
I don't know why. See, it's stupid crap like that sticks around in my brain, and then the important things just go right out my
Because
ears.
he's the most awkward man in the world.
Yeah. And I remember these things. I don't know why, but that's what happened. He liked the trees. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, they're going to frame everything that happens to Joe Biden as being disaster for Joe Biden. It's like the new version of good news for John McCain. Everything that comes down the pike has to be filtered through that tiny keyhole of the press's media narrative on Joe Biden. It's absolutely absurd. It has no bearing in reality whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know how you're feeling about you. I was telling my sister yesterday. Trump happened to call into a radio show yesterday about Biden's visit to the border, and he's like, "Oh, we know what it takes to get him off his ass, I guess." And I'm just like, I just can't believe that this complete bag of D's.
Yeah.
It's just anywhere
Well,
near
at
the
least,
Oval
at least
Office
Joe
again.
Biden wasn't down there. At least he wasn't down there eating ice cream and making
Yeah.
Jesse Waters' head explode.
Yeah.
We learned yesterday, guys, no ice cream. Ice cream is completely out now. Jesse Waters on Fox News has decided
Yeah.
that ice cream is just not manly
It's
enough
not American.
for you manly men.
Well, I mean,
It's
you
absolutely
retweeted.
absurd.
He also said it's a sign of dementia.
Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah.
George P. Bush is like, it's great to see both presidents visiting Texas to see the southern border situation firsthand, but it's important to turn this into action, not just a photo op. And Joe Walsh said, we actually only have one president.
Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's absurd. There's this weird performance aspect. Like we all at once in this country bash the performance aspects of politics, but then we immediately demand them too. Like, oh my God, Joe Biden. When is Joe Biden going to get down to the border and pretend as though he's there chasing people down as they cross the Rio Grande? I don't understand this idea that we have to see these events take place. Otherwise, oh my God, they just don't matter. No, that's not the case at all. Joe Biden's working on this. He's working on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons he said in that press conference, he said Mexico instead of Egypt is because he's dealing with two separate borders at the same time and balancing all that. So, you know, this is, again, just a lot of nothing that's coming from the news media and the Republicans.
You retweeted our friend Dino Badalo, who said, unreal. It's now more than 2 weeks since Trump asked the U.S. Supreme Court to grant him a stay in the January 6th case. However, still no answer from the Supreme Court, meaning the trial still can't go forward. The lack of urgency to protect our nation from Trump is appalling. I mean, you do have to start to wonder, is it on purpose? Are they giving him, the delay and therefore the immunity that he wants, by I mean, I know somebody yesterday, right, Jody, was saying, like, they could have already ruled against, but they're, someone's writing a dissent or something. Something's happening. A-hole, Clarence Thomas. Alito. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. Go ahead.
Well, it's frustrating because I get the sense sometimes, and this is where we feel really gaslit. I get the sense sometimes that we have this sense of urgency because we see what's happening and it's clear and it's incontrovertible. And then you see the news media kind of dragging their heels on certain things, burying Donald Trump stories that should be on the front page and like back on page A16 or something like that. And then with the Supreme Court, there's just no sense of, urgency there as far as the timetable of the election and what needs to get done, what needs to get decided when, and certainly when it comes to how these criminal trials play into the timetable of the election as well. And this is culminating in what could end up being just a disaster where both the criminal trials and the election coincide at the same time. And if it gets to that stage, we'll know exactly why, because it should be obvious now that Donald Trump is getting some sort of at least tacit support from members of the Supreme Court, if not in all their decisions, certainly in terms of their lack of urgency to help, aid the process of holding him accountable.
Yeah. By the way, if you thought women were bad now, and you know what I just realized, Chris, since we're doing 80s and going back to my 80s vest on. I used to do a character on the Hot 97 show where we sped the tape up called She-Rag, Princess of PMS. So I think I may have to bust her out since I'm, doing female comic 80s period humor.
Very funny.
Wow.
Bob, You saw the Speaker Moses parting the Red Sea joke. I mean, didn't you?
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
I did.
Because we
Yeah,
share
yeah.
a brain and bodily fluids and
And you both come from Wacky Morning Zoo Radio.
yeah.
Oh.